marriage or celibacy. Single life. Don't marry. Just like he said that. Do not marry as I am. See, Jesus didn't marry. Peter. So is Peter and Paul. Peter married? Really? Peter had a mother-in-law, right? So, Bible didn't talk about the wives, what they did. Only men. Anyway. So, 25 is regarding the second question about the young women who are not yet married. So what are you going to do? I do not have a command from the Lord for them, but the Lord in His mercy has given me wisdom that can be trusted, and I'll share it with you. Jesus never taught about the marriage. We cannot find this teaching regarding the marriage. And He said, this is not a command from God, but I have a wisdom to share the things with you. Okay? But first thing we think about, Paul was a single. How did he know about marriage? How can he give advice to single woman and man? So we don't know anything about his marriage life because Bible didn't mention anything about his marriage. But culturally, historically, he may have had a marriage. But we don't know. We are not sure because Bible is silent. But anyway, he's talking about here the young women who are not yet married. Not only young woman, but man. He's talking about later. But the subject is, must a Christian get married? What do you think?
Yes.
It is an option to you. Under one condition. If you can control yourself in terms of sexual immorality. That's the condition Bible talks about. Okay? Oh yeah, verse 9. Notice verse 9. One more, previous 8. So I say to those who aren't married and to widow, it's better to stay unmarried, just as I am. But if they can't control themselves, they should go ahead and marry. It's better to marry than to burn with lust. This is the condition Bible is teaching us. If you can control yourself, you can remain as a single man and woman. But it is impossible. What do you think? You can do it? So now he's responding to a single man and woman and married man and woman. Okay? So, those who are considering and regarding marriage, you need to think about 3 things. That's what Paul is giving us. Okay? First, you need to consider the circumstances in terms of political and economics. You need to take those into your consideration before you get married. Bible didn't give us any political and the economic situations in Corinth. But as we read the scripture, think about this. Verse 25, 26. Because of the present crisis. What do you think? What he meant here by this, the present crisis? What was the main problem in this church? Sexual immorality, right? So I think it is best to remain as you are. If you have a wife, do not seek to end the marriage. So from this verse, what we can notice is that there were so many divorces in the church. Okay? So we don't know why. We don't know the cause. Bible didn't give us any information about that. But this verse, if you have a wife, do not seek to end the marriage. Because there are so many divorces. But Bible teaches about divorce. What does God say in the Bible regarding divorce? The last book of Old Testament, Malachi. What does he say? I think it's chapter 2. God says, I hate divorce. That's his teaching. Once you're married, you have to maintain the relationship until you die. That's the principle. Okay? Divorce is the last option that you need to consider. If you are Christians, you need to forgive and forget. And you need to embrace the sins and whatever the problems you have in your relationships. Reconciliation is required. Prayer. Only one condition in the Old Testament you can divorce, even in the New Testament. One of your spouse betrayed you. By what? Sexual immorality. Outside of marriage, you have another relationship. That's not permissible. Only under that condition, circumstances, you can divorce. But Bible continually says that you need to forgive your spouse's sin and forget about it and restore the relationship. We need to think about the circumstances where you are in, your economic situations, political situations, social situations, and where you live. We need to take all those into your consideration before you get married. See, if you do not have a wife, do not seek to get married. Why? Anyway, I know you're going to get divorced later on. Because those things are, in this church, are the culture. Already so many people get divorced and they have an affairs or another relationship. You know, the previous chapter, the chapter 5. See, I can hardly believe the report about the sexual immorality going on among you. Something that even pagan don't do. I'm told that a man in your church is living in sin with his stepmother. See, with just this verse, we know, we can assume what was going on in the church.